I recently posted a video of a sketchbook that I've been working on for years and years, and it's entirely improvised and just densely packed with ink, you know, very much a kind of a meditative, like a very visceral sort of thing, and totally invented. And that is absolutely one way of working with sketchbooks. I've, you know, made many sketchbooks in my lives, you know, completed or not completed, but just it's been a regular practice. But there is occasionally you'll come across a period where, you know, if you're in the practice, you will be able to document a change of consciousness. And I think this book is probably one of the best exemplars for me of experiencing that. So this, I don't know exactly when I began this book, but I picked it up, and as you see here, it's just a little bit meandering. It's mark making, straight up mark making, which is definitely my sort of default setting. You know, just see what the marks are going to make and where they're going to take you, and maybe a little design will be helpful. But I had been working in frontlines social services, working on the streets, working in shelters and that sort of thing. And I had recently begun working at an inpatient crisis facility. So people would be admitted when they were by either emergency rooms or police or firefighters, that sort of thing. If someone who was standing on a bridge, or if they just overdosed, they'd be brought to us. And this book documents a change from when I was working on the street before moving into the crisis. And in that sense, it is much more honest, I think, than other things that I've done. And it captures some moments that are very personal for me, which I'm very reticent to show, but these are 15 years ago and more. And you see, I'll go back to, you know, these sort of fantastic little flights of fantasy. And then out of this sort of thing, to drawing of my daughter, and she was however old she was at that time. I don't know exactly where I was, but I was exploring. And then Fallen Pants, I thought that was a really awesome death metal name. Lots of stuff here, just stuff, and a pretty disorganized mind on display. And then a couple of moments of bliss here. And all this time I was processing, oh, here we are. This is 10 years ago. Processing things. not really, there was some truth telling to begin with. And then some drawings of John of these. Not that one, but that one for sure. Really being a little bit dramatic here. And then this changed my life, or my art, my creative life. It was the first drawing I did of on the floor. He kept himself the entire time he'd been with us. I asked him because he seemed oppressed by his ordinariness. It was nothing but a collection of... That was the first person I thought, maybe if I just looked at him and drew him. And it made a big difference for him. And I began doing this. And I'd sit with these people for... These drawings never took more than 5 minutes. They had to be fast, because they were at the lowest points of their lives, although some low points are different than others. That one was a piece of work. What a great spirit. What a huge, huge spirit. All of these people. Big personalities. She wasn't in there, Johnny. And you see that it's my drawing of her is somewhat awkward, and then I get back to being in the moment with people, and it's, I can't believe, I don't even know who drew these pictures. All of these people told me their stories. They told me what was going on. That they'd been admitted to a psych ward. Not even a psych ward, less than a psych ward. The lowest point of their lives. And they may be ping-ponging or bouncing at the lowest point of their lives. And I got the chance to the opportunity to be with them. Held captive. There were days, many days, I went home from this job and just wept. Just wept. And actually, including now, I haven't had a job in nearly 20 years. It hasn't made me cry like a baby. I can't say I'm proud of these drawings because they were a gift for me and for these people, and I would make a copy for them to take with them, which they always did, and I'd make a copy for the wall of that crisis facility, and it's been 20 years? Not 20, but over 15 years since I've been there, and apparently those drawings are still up. This guy was something else. And I'm getting into that story now, but this was this is one of the finest 3 days. We had these people for 72 hours, and he didn't say a word to anybody for 48 of those hours. And then on the 3rd day, my supervisor came in and said, I think he needs some Sean time. And that was the greatest compliment I'd ever received. And I went in and sat with that man and listened to what he had to say. And he had terrible vitiligo. Terrible, I say that. And that's exactly it, the judgment. But he had extreme vitiligo, and it had impacted his life in a profound way. And he put his makeup on to be drawn. He went in, he had this very expensive makeup, and he was homeless, and he was, but that was the one thing, if it was the choice between bread and that makeup would be the priority. And I saw strong men that were just so lonely. This is the first of a number of books. I've got other books that are completely full of this, but this is what drawing, you can spend years and years drawing your fantasies, but if they hone your skills so that if somebody sits down in front of you and needs to be seen and you can see them on paper, it can be a very moving experience, as it has been for me.